Hey, this is Dan.
And Dr. Aggro.
From GigaBoots.com, and welcome to GigaBoots Podcast episode 16? Yes.
Thereabout?
16.
Yeah.
I was just looking at that, and it has already left my mind. So, Bob and Eric aren't here.
True.
I've noticed. Both of them have jobs, actually.
Motherfuckers.
I know, right?
And yet only one of them, no, they both went to college. Damn. This isn't looking good for us.
So, Aggro, what are you playing? Changing the topic abruptly to what you're playing.
Well, as soon as I get home tonight, I'm going to try and devour that Ratchet and Clank game before the PS4 comes out.
Did you get to pick up a disc copy?
I have not picked up a disc copy, no.
Oh, okay. Did you bring it?
Yeah, I'm going to download it.
Oh, okay. We should have started that. Well, then again, the PS3 fan's really loud.
Yeah, it really is.
It's funny, I keep hearing reports that the PS4 doesn't have an overheating issue, but it is hot. Relatively. Like, it's not hot past thermal capacity in the least.
Right.
But it puts out a good bit of hot air, and I'm like, now, we talking PS3 original model?
Because that shit melt kisses.
Yeah.
Like, I was sitting there, I had it on my desk, and I was eating some Hershey's Kisses. It was like after Valentine's Day, and I'm like, eat these before they go stale. I'm a fat kid, not a trash compact. Anyway. And like about the fourth or fifth one, I'm like, why are these soft? Just look over and, oh, god damn it, PS3. You beautiful heat-blasting motherfucker.
Yeah, we're going to have to lower the degrees on that house we're doing the PS4 launch party at by quite a lot.
Now, I know it's supposed to be a lot quieter than the PS3.
Yeah. Oh, whisper quiet.
Whisper.
I like...
Because that depends on who's whispering.
Mm-hmm. I like when we do get decibel numbers for these sort of things, and then people come out and they're like, it's 20 decibels. And then people who don't understand the decibel system's logarithmic go and look at a chart. They're like, it's only 10 away from a car, or something like that. And I always find that amusing when people don't... They're like, numbers, all of them ever, all measurements ever are linear. They're not exponential.
I'm trying to think of this, like the single sound a car makes. Is there a chart that just has car? Because I'm about to go burn a chart down.
I know there's one that has airplane.
Oh. Wow.
But I think it's a car running the motor sound from the outside.
Which car?
Right, because...
This chart is all kinds of useless.
It is. What was it? The sound of a silent room. I'm like, the room inside my house is quieter than the shed. Is the shed not a room?
I also didn't know decibels were logarithmic.
Oh, yeah,
I've never had to... Because every time someone tells me this many decimals, I'm like, okay, that's not a thing I have a reference for, so I'm going to forget
it. And deal with it.
Because usually whenever someone says it, like, it's this many decibels, that's equal to when they list a couple of examples.
Right. Which are equally bullshit.
It's like learning the metric system. I guess I could do it. I don't want to. I have no need for it.
You don't have a need to be superior to other Americans?
Fuck the metric system. And fuck those guys for calling it the metric system. Yeah, it's a system of measurements. You guys are assholes. And also, fuck the British now that they use metric for going like, oh, you have metric and the American system. Hey, it's the imperial system, you cockfags.
I know, right? I just... Like, that bugged me, too. I was like, fuck, that was called the Imperial... When did this... Because I was never briefed on when that happened. Or when that occurrence happened. When the happening happened.
It was some happening shit.
So, Ratchet and Clank?
Yeah.
That one looked really good.
Yeah, it looks like a Ratchet and Clank game.
I watched a live stream and I was like, that may be the best one this gen. Holy shit.
Damn. Because the one thing that, like, I knew it was in the future timeline. It's apparently like the epilogue to future. They're just going to round that out. Mm-hmm. Do we have any news on future Ratchet and Clank titles?
No.
Okay.
There's a movie.
Right.
Being written by people who
have
Ratchet and Clank.
I have a box of excitement for that I've stowed away somewhere to be opened at a later date.
That's what I do with everything. Like, they have it... Okay,
and then he's like, why does everyone leave me?
Stop stowing our shit away in boxes. Especially
we have to be ready for the future.
That's kind of sort of how I'm sitting on Heavenly Sword as the movie.
What the fuck? Heavenly Sword movie.
I don't know. I think that's a really good move on Sony's part. Like, that makes way more sense than a Gran Turismo movie.
Yeah, Gran Turismo movie, I mean, that's not a high bar. A Gran Turismo movie doesn't make any goddamn sense in hell, but Heavenly Sword is such an odd... Like, we still don't have the Uncharted movie, and we're getting a Heavenly Sword movie.
Well, that's because they've been working on the Uncharted movie forever.
Right, yeah, it got sort of gridlocked, but it's like, I'd love to see a Heavenly Sword movie.
Yeah.
Like that, I loved a lot of the genre choices in that game. It's just weird to me that they picked... Heavenly Sword is still... It always has like a presence in big scope Sony stuff. Mm-hmm. And I don't know why. Did it sell really well? I mean, it was like one of 3 decent games for a while on the PS3.
It sold 1 million copies, which, I mean... That isn't great.
Neither was the game.
Yeah. I don't know, like... I see Heavenly Sword as a perfectly good IP. They just need to roll out a second game that deserves the quality of the characters. Because I think the characters and the setting and the things like that...
Bohan's still one of the best villains, hands down.
Yeah. Which I think we covered on the last podcast. He's not Andy Serkis, because that guy costs a shitload of cash.
Yeah.
It is Alfred Molina. Dr. Octagonopus.
Oh my god, it's Alfred Molina. Oh, that's so fantastic.
It is.
Oh, I love that guy.
I'm looking forward to that. But I don't know. Like, Sony was developing a Heavenly Sword 2 at one of their developers at one point, and then
I'd heard about that, and then
it just sort of
went away.
Got canceled. Which is funny. One of the things about the Cerny method of game development, which is a thing for everyone listening who thinks this is some sort of like Mark Cerny has only existed for this year. The Cerny method is an actual method of development and publishing. Like, this is a legitimate thing, or just development. This is a legitimate thing. He has contributed things to gaming before just coming out this year and being like, I designed the PS4 and this game Mac.
Yeah, like the man's been around in the industry forever, and if you didn't know who he was till he showed up at E3 to talk about the PS4, that's really more your problem.
Right. So, in any case, Cerny method, one of the things he was talking about is if you aren't canceling, 2/3 of the games you start development on, you're making bad games. Just because you should develop the idea to a certain point, and then the evaluation comes then.
Yeah, anybody who writes short stories can tell you that. That's just...
And see, this is part of why we can't have developers and publishers be super open about what they're working on. Mm-hmm. It will just be nonstop people being upset over projects being canceled.
Yeah.
So, how did Knack escape that 2/3?
Well, from what I read and what I heard, I don't want to sound crass about it, but it sounds like Cerny was like, I'm busy, so I'm gonna phone this one in.
Yeah, and I mean, the man was freaking busy.
Yeah.
I don't know what
That's basically how that goes. Like, Mark Cerny was busy. Put that shit on the box.
Single player offline, co-op offline. Mark Cerny was busy, so fuck off.
And what really sucks, and we discussed this before, every time, like, it's an action platformer. It's a 3D action platformer. Holy shit, we need more of those. They're awesome.
Yeah.
And every time a bad or a mediocre one comes out, it distinctly lowers the chances we're going to get an awesome one.
Mm-hmm. Like, oh, Knack didn't do well. Guess we won't make another.
Yeah, I guess this whole genre is still inferior to shooters.
God bless game development.
Speaking of the fact that we're getting Mirror's Edge 2.
Yes.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so about that box. I'm gonna put that box over there, and when I see the actual game, not like here's some footage we cut together of a small segment of the game. When I see
a screenshot. This is that comic book shit you guys use for cutscenes. This is not a screenshot of the game.
Sure it is. Hopefully I'll open that box on that day and it won't have spoiled. That's what I'm gonna say about that, because it being open world really concerns me. You forgot?
I wasn't aware.
Oh,
open world Mirror's Edge, there's something to be said for that. If the environment design is good, because Mirror's Edge really profited from its very linear courses. Mm-hmm. When they had that DLC afterward, where it was just abstract shapes, or not concrete shapes. That was a really good addition to the gameplay. Now, open world could either be amazing for that, or frustratingly shitty.
Yeah, I'm really concerned it's going to be that second one. Because I'm cynical. I really think they're going to go for, we have this gigantic city, you can free run all over it, none of it works terribly well.
Right. Because a lot of times for games like that, you've got to make huge contrivances for why you're able to get from one building to another. Like, Infamous, I believe, still had one of the best open city designs I've ever seen. Uh-huh. Mostly it was that fucking train.
Yeah.
That train made that shit work.
Yeah. The new Infamous, they still haven't talked about power lines affecting the guy, because obviously he's not electric.
Right.
So what they've shown off recently, which there's still an NDA, so no one can show a lot of footage or whatever, but they can talk about it. The neon power that we saw, when was that, Gamescom?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The neon power gives him, like, the Flash level of speed.
Huh.
Yeah. So he just runs so fast he becomes 3 disparate images of himself running in neon glow, and it's just crazy spectral ghost sort of shit.
Interesting.
How
does he have neon powers again?
He's Siler, and he's going to Siler some neon girl. He did that at the end of the Gamescom trailer.
Yeah. Forgot about that.
I'm perfectly cool with him being straight up Siler.
Yeah.
Because more abilities.
Yeah. And honestly, it'd be really cool, like that kind of game where you have a shit ton of powers, and if you can now mix the source of those powers, like these are all the smoke powers and these are the neon powers. I'd love a mix and match system where instead of the binary choice being moral, like do you save the orphans or do you eat a baby? Choose. You just pick like do you want ice powers or do you want plant powers? Well, shit.
That's actually exactly how 2 went.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. No, I thought it was still based on the moral choice. You went up in the ice tree or you went up in the fire tree. And
I think, despite which way you went, you got to choose. Yeah, so I think you could have chosen one or the other at the beginning. I can't remember exactly how that worked out now. All I remember is Infamous 2, something about it was just lacking the charm, lacking the tight-knit feel.
You know, for everything that's said about Infamous 1's binary moral choice system and how completely contrived it was at most points, I remember looking through the power list, going down to the bottom for the grenades, and for the good side, like they stick to enemies and they float in the air and they automatically get manacled to the ground when they land. Mm-hmm. And then you go over to the evil side and it splits into 7 grenades that do more damage. I'm like, oh, this is an excellent expression of disparate gameplay styles.
Yeah. I don't know. I always appreciated the oil's leaking out in the park. You can either, and then Cole's like, I can either stop the oil from killing all the people, or I can give them noogies.
And honestly, a lot of the problem, especially in Infamous, is that it was like the choice between good or bad. The payoff either way was negligible. Mm-hmm. Like, oh no, my screen's blurry for 4 seconds. Time to spam nades. No, I think Fallout had. I haven't played Fallout. It's one of the great sins of my life.
Yes.
That
how dare you?
Its choices were like long-reaching consequences, and I'd like to be able to have a game with like where your moral choices have long, permanent consequences, where the game developers don't punish me for being evil or middle grounded.
I don't know. That seems like an oxymoron. Wouldn't it be the case where by closing things off to you and making things occur because you made those decisions, that you could view it as being punished for making those decisions?
Well, it's just I'm talking about how, and I hear that this happens in Fallout 2. With a lot of games, if you make all paladin-ass choices, you get the best rewards.
Okay.
But it's really not. All it is you made this choice instead of this one.
Okay. Infamous 2, they actually close off the endings. You're too good to choose that. So then I had to go be the evilest bastard on Earth so I could get the second ending. I guess they presumed I was going to play through a second time, but they were fucking wrong. Now I'm just going to go around killing people for no reason.
Yeah, that's what I did. I beat one, and it's like, enjoy your city that you saved. I'm like, awesome, I'm full good coal. Got the charge beam thing, this is really cool. These people that I spent hours saving have no idea what's in store for them. And I just started throwing grenades till my grenades turned red.
Oh, man. The grenading in Infamous is such a good feeling. That's one of the few, like, it's so joyous. It's joyous to spam nades in that game.
Yeah. And something about just throwing cars with that pulse move. Oh.
Man, I really hope they get a good way to bring that joy to the new one.
Because that's like everything else that Infamous is fun.
Yeah.
It is fun as shit. And I remember picking it up and just like, I played the demo and I'm like, this is really fun. Oh my god, I remember what fun is like.
Man, did Infamous take a while to come out. Like, that was one of those, like, 2005 or 2006 trailers that we got where the game didn't materialize until, I think, 2008. And, yeah, that was late.
Yeah.
That was too late. Maybe it was... I don't know. Either way, it took too long. I can't remember the exact date.
It was a long-ass time.
It was just like, man, this PS3 thing's hard. With the PS4, it's like, right out of the gate, here's your Infamous! And I'm just like, man, Microsoft, this is kind of a lot to combat. Like, last gen, they had the unbelievably hard-to-work-with platform, and they still had more regular exclusives than you. Because Microsoft doubles down on, like, 3 games. You know, Gears of War, Halo, and Forza.
Yeah, which... Damn, that worked for them.
Yeah, that worked out great. I mean, they had the better version of every multi-platform, and they had the cheaper platform.
And the thing is, coming into that gen, you know, like we came from the PS2 gen, where the Wii hadn't hit yet, and we didn't understand that the entire industry was mutating and expanding its base rapidly. So we're like, you're just gonna make like 2 or 3 games for bros? How the fuck is that gonna? And then it just gangbusters. And we're like, shit, everything's different now. None of our prediction models are going to work anymore.
I'm like, man, bros really love Gears of War, and then Modern Warfare hit, and I'm like, nope, not anymore. Man, Call of Duty, how's that still going? Steve actually, my bro Steve actually bought Call of Duty Ghost.
Yes, he told me. I made that noise at him.
Yeah, I did it over Facebook Messenger. I was like, And at that point where you're making that sound over Facebook Messenger, it's Fractal.
I think he also got Battlefield.
Yes, which I got as well.
Yeah.
And Bob is probably going to pick up. But it looks like absolutely everyone's getting Killzone.
Yes.
Good.
Yeah.
We need one game that...
Yeah, I'm like, what else are we all gonna get?
Even if it's not the greatest game, which at launch, it's looking like it. Like, I hear high praise for the multiplayer. Single player, slightly less high praise. Like, still amazing, but not as fucking great fantastic as the multiplayer. Even if it isn't just the best thing ever, it's nice that everyone has one game, so we can just... jump on and fucking play the thing.
And if nothing else comes out for the PS4 for a while, because what's the next big one that's coming out?
Is it Infamous? February.
In February. Oh, nice.
This gen is crazy.
Oh, when did Watch Dogs get an indefinite pushback? Or?
I think it's past March. Like that's all we know. It's past March.
All right, and then have we ever heard anything on the Bureau?
The Bureau? No, I don't think we heard anything definite.
Okay, yeah, like around now, I keep expecting to hear like the big second wave of Bureau information.
Wait, is it Bureau or the
Department?
Division?
Division.
The Division, yes.
What's the Bureau?
The Bureau is XCOM.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, I was like, did something else use XCOM? Probably. I mean, it's this industry. They're not inventive with names. What's up?
GameStop just texted me to tell me my Sony PlayStation 4 avail, because apparently they think it's a tweet. 12:01 a.m. Friday, arrives 6 p.m. Thursday to finalize payment.
6 p.m.
6 p.m.
6 p.m. Wow. We knew they were gonna have us do it early. I didn't realize it was going to be that early. Since we have people we know that work there, I'll check with them to see whether or not...
we can handle that.
Yeah, whether or not we can show up even slightly later than 6 p.m.
Yeah. Here's the thing about that, guys. I have a real-ass job now. And
I have a grown-ass adult!
I have to get up at 5 a.m. for this real-ass job. So going to the launch at midnight means I'm going to sleep away the afternoon and try to get up and tank my way through it.
Now I figure, and yeah, we're just going to make this podcast us talking about our PS4 launch party podcast. Because to be honest, you're listening to an underground podcast. You want shit that's real. And this is as real as it gets. Aggro.
Yeah.
Your TV, bringing it over to Bob's.
Yeah.
Were you just going to defer that until the moment you needed to head to Bob's to head to GameStop?
I figured I'd do it Thursday morning. I'd run a bunch of errands.
Okay. What time Thursday morning?
That would depend on you and Bob, basically.
I don't get out of work till 8 something. 8:30. I won't be back in Niceville till 8:30. And you work that morning, right? Yeah.
Okay. No, I don't work that morning.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I have Thursday off.
You're just okay. Cool. So that'll be fine.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I can arrange with Bob to stop by his house or something.
Mm-hmm.
We'll figure something out. I can call him and figure that out. Okay. So you're gonna do the TV that morning. Good. That's basically all I needed to know.
Yeah.
We have a large PS4 thing going on. It's gonna be fucking baller.
Oh, I will never forget. And this is going to be kind of a retread of that. Well, no, because for the PS3 launch, we got it, and we no, this wasn't the PS3. This was the Warhawk LAN.
Yes.
This is when Warhawk came out. Oh, God, we LANed the shit out of Warhawk.
Yes, we did.
I had been sick the day before, so I downed me some diphenhydramine, and I clocked out at like 5 or 6 in the afternoon. Or in the evening. And I woke up at like 11 p.m. And I'm like, well, I guess that's my sleep for the night cycle. So I just watch cartoons until the day starts. And the day starts and we go and we do the LAN and we LAN all night. And then it's like 6 in the morning the next day and we're going out like, oh man, it's 6:30. What should we do? Let's go get donuts. Donuts sounds great. I'm in the parking lot and my fingers start flying as I count, oh my God, have I been awake for 30 hours? What? It was a total accident. I'm sorry.
I still remember that. I'm like, immediate concern for, is he just going to drop on the pavement having realized this? Like, he's fucking tired as hell. All of the tired of being up for 30 hours just
it totaled out to 32 and a half. And that's basically how I went to sleep after that. Because we got the donuts, we got back, I went upstairs into an empty room, laid down on the carpet, took my glasses off. I had my hand halfway between my face and the floor to put them down, and that's the last thing I remember. I just shut down.
That's awesome. Oh, man. I'm so glad I got off from work for the PS4 thing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we still need to make that order on the sandwich tray.
Yeah.
We'll do that right after this.
Yeah.
When we start recording the PS3 thing. So what I've been playing... the What Indie Hell game we covered, Mingling at the Gallery.
Yeah, I read the description for that one, and I'm kind of sad I missed that.
Yeah. Part of me is glad we can cover iPhone things now, but a lot of me
That was an iPhone game?
That was an iPhone.
That's even worse.
It is the height of bullshit.
Nice.
Man. It was fucking awful. It robbed me for $4. Whatever. Go watch that episode of What Indie Hell if you want to know. I also played Next Quest. Have you downloaded that yet?
I have not.
It's Bejeweled on your iPhone.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually just decent, free Bejeweled.
I played and kicked Bejeweled before like the Bejeweled revolution took place.
Yeah.
Downloaded the first version of Bejeweled back when downloading games on your PC was weird.
Yeah.
Because you'd play a Flash game in a browser, like, oh, download this game. That's clearly not a safe file. But we downloaded and played it, and I had like a 3-hour game going on. I had the undisputed top score in my house, and I decided to go out undefeated and on top.
Oh.
And I have not played Bejeweled since.
Well, I will let you know that all the versions of Bejeweled on iPhone suck.
Oh, wow.
Which is why this Next Quest thing, which isn't the most polished thing, is actually a really good way to play Bejeweled. It adds a couple mechanics that make it a little weird, but for the most part, it's an improvement over the standard rule set. For example, when you match 3 and you have to wait for all the reactions to that to occur to make your next move.
Right.
You don't in this. So you can just speed blitz it and just keep going, and all this stuff is falling. It's pretty great.
Nice.
Like, I like that. I don't know if most Bejeweled players will, but I like that.
Because now it's like, you should play Candy Crush. You should suck my dick. I played Bejeweled back in the day. And it's like, you should play Bejeweled. I'm like, you can suck my dick. I'm a Columns kid.
That works. Hey, is this... That is. Damn it. Last night I was playing Uncharted 3 because I thought I would beat the game.
Right.
In time for PS4 because I don't think I'm going to be able to go back to it. Maybe I'll just watch the movie version on the internet. Because I want to know exactly how the plot went.
Yeah.
And I wanted to experience the game, but then it Last of Us'd my save file, and I lost several chapters of progress.
Uh-huh.
And so I'm never, ever going back to that.
Yeah. From the beginning of the save game, this still plagues us. It's like raking. We never figured out a way to do it that much better.
Yeah.
Save file.
Raking sucks.
I kind of enjoy raking.
You enjoy raking.
I do. It's very zen for me.
Well, in any case, I was trying to play Uncharted 3 last night, and I couldn't find my cable for my DualShock 4, so I couldn't use my DualShock 4 on Uncharted.
Aww.
And I look down now into the mess that was caused by my endless video tests on our new capture card.
Yeah. Guys, I'm not fucking around when I describe the Giga Shed as pretty damn cyberpunk.
It is fucking... I don't know, I'm just glad there's no Akira moment here with this. But yeah.
Because I know one day you're going to be rendering a video and then... Duh!
Yeah.
Duh! Duh!
It'll just be awful. You'll see me from Valparaiso.
Giant black dome in the sky.
What else have I been playing? I haven't touched Pokemon.
Yeah.
I haven't. I got that first region and I was like,
it's
don't
okay.
care. Don't care.
It's okay. That can be a good thing.
Actually, here's the thing. It's not okay.
Yeah?
I got the 3DS and the 3DS capture hardware for Pokemon. The 3DS is sold...
You got the capture hardware for Pokemon?
Yeah, I was going to do a review.
Oh, okay.
But then I was me.
Yeah.
Larger problem. But no, it's just... I got the 3DS only... I bought into the platform for Pokemon. The capture hardware was because I was like, okay, I'm going to have this platform. People will probably want videos of any of this stuff.
Right.
I'll buy the capture hardware. Had Pokemon not been on the 3DS yet, or it were super overtly obviously bad, and I could have been like, that's Ruby and Sapphire. I will pass, thank you. I could have avoided buying this 3DS. So now it just lies around waiting. It's like, Daniel, buy a game on me. And I'm like, no. Your control method of interface is just fucking awful for video games. Like, the 3DS normal. The 2DS is way more comfortable. Mm-hmm. Maybe I'll just mooch off my girlfriend's 2DS to play...
Echo the Dolphin.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. To play Echo the
Dolphin.
Yeah,
I was like 2 gyms into Pokemon. I looked at my 2DS and went, oh my god, can I go buy Ocarina of Time now? Because I had locked that away in my heart as just something I could never have and so should no longer want. Don't you hand that to me, you bitch! God damn it. I have a console to go launch. New games. New experiences that aren't Ocarina of Time. I need out, damn it.
Okay, then I'll tell you. But it'll be back.
It'll be back.
It'll be back.
I'll be back for you.
This is Bob's copy.
Yeah, I was.
Borrowed it at the... I borrowed it like at the beginning of this year, and I haven't touched it. I want to, because that game's better than Pokemon.
It's Ocarina. It's better than most games.
Yeah, which is really bizarre. Like the progression of Nintendo's platforms since the moment that Ocarina of Time came out has been awkward. because none of them have delivered what people wanted, vaguely expect, pray for after Ocarina of Time, which is that next moment where everything clicks again.
Mm-hmm.
Because Ocarina of Time sort of made 3D gaming as a whole click. Like Super Mario 64 did a great job.
Yeah, it like pushed a lot of
Time-
those concepts, but it was still kind of awkward and weird.
Yeah,
Ocarina of Time was just fucking perfect.
yeah, it's just, but yeah, there's a reason I sort of checked out after Majora's Mask. Like I love Majora's Mask as a sequel to Ocarina of Time.
That was perfect as a sequel to Ocarina
But it
of Time.
isn't another Ocarina of Time.
No, it is very, very much another part of the Ocarina of Time story.
And what I find amazing is if you look at every Zelda leading up to that, up to Majora's Mask on console, they all sort of did that. Like, the original Zelda was mind-blowing. Like, it's this huge quest across all these screens and dungeons and items.
Right.
All of that shit was unprecedented. Zelda 2, in my opinion, same way of, like, we can have this amazing RPG-like gameplay on top of a good game that isn't just an RPG, that isn't a grind fest, and there's this overworld, and these graphics are beautiful, and
This guy's clearly walking around with his dick out.
He's clearly walking around with his dick out, and then Link to the Past did it again. Just like I bet that one's GameStop. I'm gonna check. Yeah, that's GameStop.
My last name's just that much farther alphabetically than yours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Huh. But yeah, I just think it was so awkward for everyone ever to deal with post Ocarina of Time. Even still, there are just like people when a new Zelda comes out that just have this gnawing undertone of
like I view all of Zelda like it's a cone. And at the top rests Ocarina of Time. And like when you look at that huge split timeline that it came out with, you look at Ocarina of Time there at the crux point. And you pull it out and it makes this cone and all other Zelda games are beneath it. And like there's a scale there.
And you don't see how disappointment could play into this. Okay, sure.
No, but yeah, like it's all other Zelda games are made in the atmosphere of they already made Ocarina of Time. And they've been, for being made in that, they've been valiant attempts.
Yeah.
I mean, like, Nintendo does not pull its goddamn punches when they make new Zelda games. Now, this is me speaking that I haven't played Skyward Sword.
Right. That's the thing, though. I hear from the people I know that Skyward Sword was actually a really good effort, and Twilight Princess kind of wasn't.
Really?
Yeah. It makes me want to play both of them.
I've never physically played Twilight Princess. Like, growing up, me and my brother would play Zelda games, and I'd have the player's guide, both of them, and he'd be the wheelman.
Yeah.
So it was years later when I actually went back and played Ocarina for myself a bazillion times. And the first time I picked up the controller, I'm like, okay, time to do the Great Deku Tree. Why does this feel so weird? Oh my god, I've never played this game before. Because I'd seen it 8 million times, and I could do these dungeons in my sleep. But
interfacing,
and especially like after Ocarina, you have Majora, which is it's very much after Ocarina. It's like Ocarina Elseworld story, literally. And then you have Wind Waker, which was beautiful in that it just went like, okay, there's Ocarina, that's the beautiful standard. Somehow we were able to make that game again with Majora. It wasn't the lightning in a bottle game changer that Ocarina was. It couldn't have been. So for Wind Waker, fuck it, we're going to do something completely different, but try just as hard. And it was charming and beautiful and amazing and way deeper than it looked. And I remember the bitching about the cell shading.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my god, are they trying to like dumb it down and make it for kids? And like, well, it's a Zelda game, so I'll buy it. I might enjoy it. And then you start playing Wind Waker, and like 10 minutes in it, oh my god, this is fun as shit.
I remember some of the things Nintendo has always done a good job of spewing propaganda that doesn't actually check out technically. And one of my favorites was Wind Waker when they were trying to defend the art style. They're like, well, with this art style, what we're able to do with Link is the objects in the room that are important, his eyes will track to. Mm-hmm. And you couldn't do that without the cell shading.
Oh. Wow.
Yeah.
What bullshit?
Yeah.
That was a cool feature, though.
It was.
Oh, my God. And the subtle things they added to the combat in Wind Waker, that game was glorious.
Yeah. I mean, Wind Waker was really great until getting the pieces of the Triforce quest. I hated that. That was just rote fetch quest. You couldn't hold enough money. I had a maxed out wallet when I got to the point in the game, and you couldn't hold enough money to pay that bastard for all the maps.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck that!
I don't know why I don't remember hating that. Like, I remember it. People explain it to me all the time. Like, I don't, but I do. I don't remember being pissed off at that. And I think it was straight up, like, you don't, like, when a loved one just starts beating you, you don't, like, immediately stop loving them. It's just like, maybe it's just a bad day that he's having, and, like, we'll get through this together because we're a family.
No, it was you. It was you.
I'm sorry, Wind Waker. I should have already had the Triforce. Tingle, you're right. I shouldn't just shake you down for these maps.
I'm just such an awful person. I'm sorry, Wind Waker. But yeah, so I was there for Wind Waker, and I actually haven't played Twilight Princess or Skyward Sword. And I feel like I really should.
Yeah, Twilight Princess was weird. Like, it tried to do a lot of the new different things, like Wind Waker did, but just looked like upgraded Ocarina.
Yeah.
Which it basically was.
Right.
And I adored it. It hit this amazing middle ground, but I haven't played the whole game. One of the complaints I always hear about it is the balance between Link time and Wolf time is weird, and Wolf time is just weird, period. So I don't know what kind of taste that would leave in my mouth, not having played the whole game myself.
I have to wonder what would even be required of Nintendo to have an Ocarina of Time moment again.
I don't know if we can. Because, I mean, that leap into 3D was enormous.
Yeah.
And, I mean, until the Oculus Rift. Who the fuck am I kidding? The Oculus Rift is the end of this thought.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Like, the only other way around it is to spend more money on the game than Grand Theft Auto spends on Grand Theft Auto 5, than Rockstar spends on that. And to just have a really good idea of exactly the atmosphere you're going for. Yeah, because,
the thing Ocarina did was figure out exactly what the fuck it needed to do for all this new tech and for this new style of gameplay, and do it flawlessly the first time.
Yeah.
Z-targeting, I still remember when I figured out what it was. I'm like, this is the most brilliant shit I have ever heard of.
He said in his tiny, well, not so tiny, 8-year-old body.
Up from the depths.
Story style.
He's an 8-year-old.
Fat ginger. Yeah, I really think those are the only two options: the Oculus Rift and $1 billion on a high-end system that's like super powerful.
Speaking of Z-targeting,
yeah,
my brother, back when he played World of Warcraft the first time, he had a warlock, and he'd take it, and he'd go to Orgrimmar, or no, he was a human. Where'd he go? He went some fucking place. I don't remember. Place. But he'd get up somewhere high, like on a roof or on top of a vendor stand or something. And he had a macro for he was just sitting in town doing guild shit. And every now and then he'd hit it, and he would yell, "Hey, look, what was it? Use Z targeting to look up here and talk to me."
That's awesome.
He'd do this for hours. It was amazing. Which is, I guess, the magic of the World of Warcraft, but. Yeah, the Oculus Rift, I mean, because we've been fantasizing about VR technology since we've had technology, so...
Right.
Like, we all kind of know what we want. We're just... If we can get something to hit that single point tone that Ocarina did, that first beautiful, out-of-the-box, of course this is what this thing is designed to do. Ocarina of Time made the N64 controller make sense for everything that came after it. It is still one of my favorite controllers.
I marvel over how delayed Ocarina of Time was. Like, because that came out in 98. And they kept saying every year, like, oh, it's coming. It's coming. It's coming. It's still coming. Here's a picture
that shit till it was done.
Isn't in the game.
Here's a YouTube video of us making it with the Mario 64 engine.
Still is. It's just 2 years of crazy bullshit thrown on top of that. And then Star Fox, I believe, came out in between the two, so that sort of transitioned the, hey, you got Mario 64, here's this awesome Star Fox thing. And now here's Ocarina of Time.
To just seal the fucking deal.
And that's just amazing that in 3 years they had their 3 best installments of those franchises. Ocarina of Time, Star Fox 64, and Super Mario 64. I'm sure there are a lot of people
who will gut you for saying 64 is the best Mario.
Maybe. I don't know. Like, there are people who still believe that Sunshine was a much better Mario, and they're wrong, but because Galaxy's the only contender. And ultimately Galaxy falls prey to the same issues that occurred in Super Mario 64, but it does it so many years later that it's just absolutely abrasive and absurd. Of
now,
like, why
is
is
category
this camera
3D Marios or all Marios?
3D, because I don't really like 2D Mario. I mean, it's good. It's good. It's not as good as Sonic, but it's good.
Yeah, like I play a lot of 2D Mario, and I'm like, this is pretty good. And then I play 6 Golden Coins, I'm like, this is awesome.
Yeah, 6 Golden Coins was amazing. That was another super high mark for the Mario franchise, because Game Boy can do this. Metroid 2 was too. Like, Metroid 2 was amazing, like free roaming. What are we talking? I handed you Ocarina of Time. I regret
that's
my
what
3DS.
Happens.
I regret my 3DS, and 15 minutes later, we're talking about Nintendo history.
That's a history.
Yep, there we go.
Nintendo.
Fucking Nintendo. I guess we're going to take a break, and then we're going to talk about knack reviews and other things. Aggro and I were having a conversation about something Geoff Keighley tweeted, or Jeff Keighley. I don't know. I want to call him Geoff, like the Toys R Us giraffe.
Is his name not Geoff?
I always hear him referred to as Jeff Keighley.
Huh.
So it could just be they're not in...
Could be like Geoff.
Geoff Keighley. Talking about, on Twitter, the PS4 All Access thing, which is happening on launch night at 11 p.m. their time. So everyone who's interested in PS4 isn't going to be able to watch it, but Bob has scheduled his DVR to do so.
Right.
Which becomes a problem because Bob's going to be playing PS4 on his TV. And this thing apparently has some major stuff. It's going to have the first trailer for The Last of Us DLC, single-player DLC.
Yeah.
Which... That's the worst possible time to tease me with that. Here's your new console. Here's some shit for your old console. I don't care! And it's going to have some other announcements, which game reveals, worldwide game reveals. So this is basically taking the place of the VGAs for exclusive reveals on these sorts of things. And I'm excited.
Yeah.
Because it really could be Sony Santa Monica's next game or Naughty Dog's Uncharted.
Because they'll be standing there at that fucking GameStop. I wonder what they're going to be playing right now.
Yeah. Luckily, with smartphones, we'll be able to keep remote tabs on it. And be able to know what we're looking for.
But there's always that possibility that instead of explaining what it is, all the live Twitter streams just start going, oh God, oh Jesus, shit, yeah.
Yeah, that's very likely. That's what I mean, NeoGAF will probably crash.
I love, like, every time something important happens, I know because NeoGAF is down.
It's... Oh, what was it? On one of the episodes of the Rant is Go, the most recent one, some dude on N4G is like, I knew he was a Sony fanboy the moment he mentioned NeoGAF. And I'm like... I'm like, because the majority of people want a PS4 on NeoGAF, they're Sony fanboys. let's ignore the most of them had a 360 this gen. From self-admission. More importantly, I never said I'd go to NeoGAF. I just said they had some threads to show off animated PNGs, which are fucking baller.
Mm-hmm.
I still think everyone should go check out animated PNGs. They're really cool.
Yeah, they really are.
So yeah, exclusive reveals.
Nice.
Yeah. Greg Miller from IGN, from the podcast Beyond, was at the Sony event doing interviews with tons of the executives, and he was talking to Shuhei. He's like, Shuhei, you don't know it yet, but we're in a race to get 2,000 friends on the PlayStation Network, and I'm going to win. And Shuhei's like, oh.
Yeah.
Later on,
I don't know if that's like you're talking to Sony here, like a company born of blood and fire. You may not want to do that shit to Shuhei Yoshida.
Maybe
he
not.
might come from behind to bury you.
He might be that crazy. What was it? A lot of people I've been talking to Shu about how weird it is that he's taken this public position for people to talk to about PlayStation and all these other things. And did you see the PS4 unboxing from Sony?
Yes.
Yeah, so that too, that sort of role.
Uh-huh.
And so they were talking to him about that. Like Giant Bomb talked to him about that. Greg Miller talked to him about that. But Greg Miller also interviewed Jack Tretton later that day. And he's like, Jack, we need to talk about the Shuhei guy. He's stealing all your spotlight. We need to get rid of him. You need to be the guy that they go and talk to. Why aren't you? And he's like, well, unfortunately, I don't get to be the cool developer guy. Shu gets to be that. I get to be... Well, I'm the suit, and I mean, that's not who I am, but that's who I am for the company. Because if I go out and say things, our stock goes down.
Whoa!
I was like, that's so fucking great that even he is so vividly aware of the machinations that trap him.
Yeah.
I just love that. I just love him being frank about that. Like, I can't make jokes because investors don't get them. Our stock will drop like a bag of bricks.
Yeah, which sucks. Every time it goes out for E3, I'm really excited. I'm like, yes, slather me in that accent, you beautiful Boston fucker.
I do like Jack Tretton. Mm-hmm. Like, he is a lot better than a lot of the other Sony executives that we were used to during the PS3 era, which is now drawing to a close. So,
yay.
I guess we can turn the last part of this podcast into a sort of retrospective, which we've done effectively for a good bit, talking about the Warhawk stuff and the launch stuff and how. Well, was it on the record we were talking about like what came out at launch was only Resistance and like Genji and a couple other
Genji,
games?
you weren't done.
No.
At all.
Not even.
It's not like you weren't polished enough. You weren't finished at all.
Yeah.
Insert enemy dying animation here.
I love it because for the longest time, because of bad implementations on the PS3, I thought Havoc physics just sucked. I was like, man, Genji looks awful. Like, boxes go to break, and they, like, fly off and do weird things. Damn it, Havoc physics.
I'd be standing behind Bob and he's playing Genji and some of that bullshit would happen. I'm like, wow, Bob. And he just, no, it's a good game. There's a good game in here. And just he waited till he was done and went, okay, that was crap.
I still think it took him time.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't until 2 years later that he was just completely, that game was terrible. Which is why you should never trust the current Bob. Trust the Bob that has been.
Fucking, what was it? Oh, if guys, if you've never played it, one, you're lucky because it is as staring into the mouth of an uncaring god.
As you could get, yeah.
There was a game we were super excited about for a long time that was coming out on the PS3.
Oh no.
Because the shit much like everything else about the PS3 itself, the shit they said about this game. Mm-hmm. I mean, like, people talk about destructible environments now. Well, this was like destructible armor in pieces. Every single piece of equipment, mechanized joint was going to work properly and be material. Mm-hmm. It was Gundam Crossfire, and it was going to rip your soul out of your nose and donkey punch it back up your ass. And I came over, and they looked at me because I'm like, yeah, I'm ready to play Gundam Crossfire. And they looked at me like they couldn't hear me anymore. And just without looking, one of them turned to boot up the system, and Gundam Crossfire started. I'm like, yeah, hit that X button, let's start. And the camera zooms in on a Zaku. I'm like, yeah, this is fucking awesome. And they're like, now move the analog stick. I said, well, that was a weird thing to say. Of course I'm gonna. Oh my god, what is wrong with this game?
And it really is that bad.
People throw the word slideshow around a lot when it drops below 30 frames a second.
Yeah.
We're rocking like 4 sometimes.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Fucking shit.
Like, Lair and Heavenly Sword were... Like, Heavenly Sword was kind of disappointing. Lair was disappointing. This game... we didn't know if they were kidding.
Yeah. I just felt robbed. Mm-hmm. Like, the distinct feeling.
And you'd walk by it on shelves for your years, and you just think, you can't sell this to people. You know Gundam Crossfire is still sitting over here, right?
You morally bankrupt bastards.
I mean, you turn around and you're in a GameStop and you're like, oh. Shit, I was at a movie stop and I'm like, you guys know you have a bootleg copy of Record of Lotus War? They're like, yeah. Okay.
Wow! Wow, that... Holy shit. I've never... Wow. Mm-hmm. Holy shit. That's it. That is incredible.
Yeah. I'm like, man, I should call someone. Who the fuck do I call? Who owns Lotus War these days? Is it Media Blasters? Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Because Media Blasters were like, we relicensed Record of Lotus War, getting a new Blu-ray box set. And we're like, shit, yeah. And they're like, we have 2 announcements. First, the bad news. What's the bad news, Media Blasters? You're no longer getting a Blu-ray box set of Record of Lotus War. We're like, shit. Like, but there's good news. And we're like, I don't know, man. What's the good news after that, Media Blast? And they're like, Queen's Blade Season 2 is fully dubbed now. And we're like, you cocksuckers. It hurt.
Yeah.
Right in the old school.
Ow. At PS3 launch, Bob and I spent 32 hours, which he bitches about a lot. A lot. He still does.
Yeah.
He did it yesterday. 32 hours in a line. Actually, maybe it was less than that. I think it was 30. Yeah, it was straight up 30. It was a day and 6 hours in a line at a Walmart.
I didn't know you guys were there for that long.
Yeah.
I knew you lined up for it.
Like we had camping chairs and stuff to get the PS3 at launch. I was picking it up for my roommate. It was basically, he had the money, I had the waiting.
Right.
So we pick it up. I remember Bob got Genji, and Motorstorm wasn't available at launch, which sucked because that was one of the first demos we tried.
Yeah.
For the PS3. But he picked up Genji and Resistance. I don't think he picked up anything else. Jay picked up...
Resistance was really all you needed at launch.
Jay from HalesEon.com picked up Gundam Crossfire and Resistance, I believe. And then I picked up Tony Hawk. And that Tony Hawk game, reviewers led me to believe that the 360 version ran way better. Way better than the PS3 one. So the whole time I'm playing it, I'm dealing with this choppy frame rates, and I just don't understand. I don't understand. The Sony from 2005 told me the PS3 would be the most amazing fucking thing. And here it is, not running Tony Hawk Project 8, as well as the 360, which was a worse piece of hardware. I know, because I waited an extra year to get the PS3. And the demo at GameStop, too, has the very first area of the game, which runs great, and it's on the 360, so that exacerbated this even further. But through all this frustration, when I finally just put it aside, I was fucking insanely into that game. I had that one game, but motherfucker, I played that for hours every single fucking day. And... yeah, that was all right. It was a good game.
Yeah. I'm really glad Resistance was there to carry us through.
Yeah.
I mean, every time another disappointment would come out, there was always Resistance.
Yeah. And Resistance was like a nice, old school feeling first-person shooter.
It was a beautiful run and gun. And the co-op was amazing.
Yeah.
Being able to co-op the story was awesome.
Yeah.
Because you can get really tactical with it. The AI was great. Man, fucking Resistance 2 was a horrible shame.
Yeah, it really was.
Especially because it meant nobody played 3. Which was awesome again.
Yeah, it was. In case you didn't know, Resistance 3 is a really good shooter. You should go play it. Especially if you have a PlayStation Move and a sharpshooter.
Yeah.
Because that was pretty cool.
I mean, as far as like a plastic chunk for a Move controller,
yeah,
the sharpshooter was really awesome.
Mm-hmm. Sony's effort on the PlayStation Move was actually really good. I think they did about as good as they could. The problem was that the market just didn't care.
Yeah.
I mean, if you combine that
They rolled that rock as far uphill as they were going to.
If you combine that shit with a fucking VR headset, like even Carmack himself has agreed, that would be the ideal interface. Now, admittedly, that means you can only play shooters, but... So, Oculus Rift porn.
Yeah.
I watched a trailer.
Oh, yeah?
For an individual installment of an Oculus Rift porn game. That was a weird fucking trailer.
Yeah, I believe it.
It was Japanese as fuck.
Oh, yeah. You're never sure who's going to get there first. Like the Japanese tech porn companies? Or like weird Texas, they hired a guy to do the coding for this porn companies.
Right? You never really know.
Everything's pornier in Texas.
Huh.
New slogan.
I did not know that.
For me and for Texas. It's the start of a whole new era.
Thank God. It really needed to turn a new leaf into the 21st century to reinvent itself.
Yeah.
Okay, so the worst moment at the PS3 launch. Aggro, was it Crossfire for you? Because I know what it was for me. So
see, Crossfire... Okay. Crossfire was like, it was stark. It was pie in the sky, based on nothing, to immediate hellish depths of what the fuck is this? But what really... I mean, it was post-launch, but it was still that really early pocket. What really broke my heart was Lair.
Yeah.
Lair was uncalled for. I mean, looking back and knowing how fucking hard the PS3 was to program for, you can kind of understand it. But man, at the time, when it was just the God box of power and power to spare, and the cell makes the game for you, they told us it does. What are you doing? Lair being awkward and terrible to control was just, it was wrong.
Yeah. It was...
I'm like, you guys made Rogue Squadron.
I know.
What are you doing?
That was the worst part. Like, you guys made Rogue Squadron. You know better than this. So why are you... What?
And you couldn't control it with the sticks when it first came out. You had to use the 6-axis.
Yeah.
Tilting it. And it was so bad that we threw a couple of cables and a little remote play. We played it on the TV using the PSP as a controller, and it worked better.
Yeah. How the fuck did that end up being the case?
It was so awful.
Yeah. It was so awful. For me, it was when I hit that PlayStation button.
Oh.
I'm in Resistance 1.
Oh, God, yeah.
And I had seen videos where they hit the PlayStation button and they get brought out to the cross-media bar. And it's smooth.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's a dev kit, apparently.
Yeah.
And I hit the button, and it doesn't... It just pops up with this black screen with options. Like, you want to turn off the system or the controller? What are you doing here? And I'm like, I'm trying to send a message to my friend while in game. And it's like, no.
Whoa, partner.
You're not doing that. And that was the most insanely, frustratingly, terrifyingly awful moment. Because I realized this shit isn't done.
When
they
like
lied to
if
us.
this generation goes off on all sides for every company, like we're hoping it does, then years from now will have to explain when it sounds kind of weird that why would you expect this? Well, because they told us it could do shit like this. Last gen launch was nothing but lies from everywhere. Mm-hmm. Everyone lied openly about everything.
And it's great because it is every single turn as a Sony guy. You're just like, of course Microsoft lied with their Madden CG trailer they showed during the fucking large football thing. I'm good at football.
And it was just because every time we're like, Microsoft's fucking lying. What assholes. What unscrupulous dicks. And everyone's like, Sony's lying about this. You shut your goddamn mouth. Sony's not lying. Sony could back it up with the Cell processor. The Cell processor was a literal god machine that would just... We had faith. We held true faith that the Cell processor's raw computing power would fix everything. And all of the bullshit they were selling us would be true. Hallelujah.
Yep.
And then you hit that PlayStation button.
Was 2006 the year Innocence died?
I think that 2005 E3 was the year Innocence died.
I think that's the year Lies began.
Oh, the Demon Con.
Was the 2005. 2005 was the amazing one where they're like, this is what your games will look like. And they show CG trailers for MotorStorm. Like, you still remember that? That thing may be accomplishable on a modern gen game, or a modern gen console, approximately.
Yeah. Like, I always hold the standard, can we do an old cutscene, just not with all the lighting and shading and shit. Oh, so much untruth. And see, now, I liked those lies better. like looking back, I like them now more than I like our current lies. Because back then, they were just straight up lying about the capabilities of their platform.
Yeah, they spent thousands of dollars on CG to lie about it, like Killzone.
Now, when companies come out and like they have a bunch of employees sit in their conferences to laugh or applaud at scripted moments, I don't like those lies as much. Because before, the companies were still the companies and they were lying about what they could do as companies. Now the companies are lying because they're pretending to be us.
Yeah. Yeah, that's sort of the problem. And the worst part is, imagine the people who are buying into that. Like, there are tons of people who, when Microsoft event clearly has, like, scripted clapping, scripted laughing, mostly clapping.
Yeah.
Like, almost exclusively that.
Because for a few E3s, that was the best part, waiting for someone to not clap at something.
When that happened this year, there were actually tons of people who were like, no, that's not a paid audience. And I'm just watching it, and I'm like, that's obviously a paid audience.
Yeah, games journalism isn't helping by pretending to be them.
And then fucking, there were game journalists who were like, yeah, these people are clearly paid Microsoft employees. They were here ahead of us. They get different sitting. They're all in the front row. The actual journalists are in the back row.
Yeah. Like, you want to have fun? Go YouTube E3 conferences in chronological order.
Yes.
And watch all of the screens disappear from the first several rows. Because the journalists aren't there anymore.
I like when Sony's conference solution for E3 was to just let fans in, like really diehard fans who would wait a day in line.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's a really good solution that doesn't just end up being completely a dirtbag move.
Yeah.
Oh man, I need to charge my Vita for the launch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It came out louder than I thought it was going to.
Yeah.
Yeah!
Well, yeah!
Yeah!
Remote play!
Woo!
Like, I hear it's great on Assassin's Creed. Because
I'm gonna go shit, but I have a Killzone multiplayer match to play. Could you please not loudly announce I'm gonna go shit in the middle of the LAN party? Thanks.
Thanks. Actually, yeah, that's a good point. I could get food from the snack bar while killzoning on my Vita. That'll be something I will do.
If I see you holding your Vita in two hands, go to the kitchen, see your character hasn't stopped running and gunning, and you come back chewing something, I'm not getting any more food that night. Who knows how you got that into your mouth?
Doge, Oh, feed me. But yeah. So I think we don't have a huge variety of titles being bought at this LAN. I wish we knew a dude who's into sports games. If I had
Well, we do, but I don't think he's getting a PS4.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Or is coming to any of our LANs ever again.
Correct. Probably, I would think. But in any case, if I had another 120 to burn, I'd definitely be picking up like FIFA, Madden, and NBA. NBA looks fucking stellar.
Yeah.
Except for these like courtside chat moments where it goes into PS2 gen Uncanny Valley.
Oh yeah?
Uh-huh.
Nice.
Yeah. Like the interviewer will just like talk away from them vaguely at a direction that may be the camera, but it isn't because you're the camera. And while she's doing this, he'll have his head like shoved forward and down, and he's lurched over in this really awkward stance, perfectly still. And then she finishes talking, and then he springs to life, and then he's just like,
welcome to the Hall of Presidents.
And remember, buy the churro. Yeah, it is hilarious, and
Nice.
I'm gonna try to talk Bob into checking that out, because he should be able to procure us a copy of one of these games. And I really want it to be a sports game, because people know how to play sports games. There's not going to be this huge layer of like, oh, we need to get used to controls, blah, blah, blah. And I would prefer it be NBA. But I don't know, maybe Madden's something good on PS4. I'm hearing comments from the developer about how like you can't tell the difference between the versions, and I'm not okay with that. I don't like the concept of better hardware being held back by...
We could all just play DC
hardware.
Universe.
This is true.
Yeah.
I doubt we're going to do that, though.
Free to play on launch. They upgraded a lot of the graphics for the PS4.
DC Universe is completely free to play?
Last I checked.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I'm lost.
Right?
Oh, shit.
Artax, no.
There's so many free-to-play games and free games for the PS4. It's nuts. Like, I don't know how anyone could buy a PS4 who has PlayStation Plus, or even doesn't, really, because of all the free-to-play games you can play online for free, and could just be like, this launch library is disappointing. There's too much. It's too free. I mean, Resogun's enough to keep me happy. It really is. Like, that's probably going to get more play out of it over the course of this console than Killzone. Unless we really do just do a shitload of lands of Killzone.
Yeah.
Which is very, very possible.
Yeah. I swear to God, Dan. I get a few hours into Killzone and don't like it. Everyone at that land is dead. Because I have no room left for hope in my life.
What? Good Lord! See a psychiatrist. No, I think the single player is looking really good, serviceable. Serviceable at worst, really good at best. There's really high praise for the forest level, which apparently allows you to tackle the situation in a huge amount of different ways. And then I've seen footage from...
Yeah, I've seen that from the gameplay footage.
Yeah, I've seen gameplay footage from another level where they also get to tackle it in very different ways. The cool thing is if they go loud in one of the missions and you're just guns blazing rescuing these hostages, they have different voice clips for when you go in stealthily, because they know to be quiet if you haven't been detected.
Nice.
Yeah, they're like, I don't know where my husband is. Go find him. Meanwhile, if you just blew open the wall to get them, they're like, there are other people! And they run. And I'm like, yes, this is awesome!
Because, I mean, honestly, I love doing the mix and match there. I love getting just far enough in to where there's confusion before the terror when just guns start going off. Honestly, one of my favorite parts of Metal Gear Solid 2 was, like, I was rescuing Emmerich's little sister, and, like, I get found out because I don't know if I could have gotten through it without it. I don't remember. But I spent that whole game, I'm like, I'm going to do a no alert run. And I did really well. But I just shoved that girl in a corner and emptied the magazine of every carbine the game had given me to go, fuck you, you can't use it, you need to be stealthy, and just bloodied that hallway like goddamn Gray Fox for 10 minutes until no more guards came for the alarm.
Man, now you're just reminding me of what good Metal Gear feels like.
Right? Hold on to that.
Ground Zero's coming out in March or spring. Ground Zeroes, it's the prologue to the full game. It's going to be $30. I'm super psyched.
I think Kojima has basically said, guys, yeah, there are going to be small plot inconsistencies.
Yeah, he's like, I'm retconning, so deal.
Which, that one release, I'm like, okay, I know where Kojima is. He's basically at Toriyama levels of don't give a fuck anymore.
Which, unlike...
Well, not quite Toriyama. Somewhere between Lucas and Toriyama.
Unlike Toriyama, I really think it's going to benefit the material.
Because with Toriyama, it's like, write a movie. Toriyama's like, God damn it, I don't want to write Dragon Ball anymore.
Why don't you guys like Dr. Slump?
He's got to think that every day for 30 years. Why does nobody like Dr. Slump? Japan's like, we like Dr. Slump. Shut up, Japan. Nobody asked you.
No, you don't. And then there are all those free games we're getting to if you already own them on PS3, where it's like you get sound shapes, you get flower, you get flow, you get escape plan.
Yeah, that one still weirds me out. I'd have to see how they translated that shit to a controller.
I'm excited.
Yeah,
I want to see that too, because there is a shitload of front and back touch.
Yeah,
control.
like that whole thing, and like you had to treat your Vita as an object instead of a game playing device
with disparate interfaces.
Right, it was just you had to use the whole thing like a puzzle box. So translating that to controllers, interesting.
Yeah. Oh, are you picking up the PlayStation camera at launch?
Most likely, yeah.
Okay, cool. So then Playroom's another thing we can do.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And
we should probably get labels for controllers.
Yeah, I'm bringing my label maker. Yes,
Good.
I have a label maker.
Of course you do.
Yeah.
I wish I had a label maker.
Oh shit! I've moved
twice
since the last time I used it. Do I know where my label maker is?
Fuck.
I'm gonna have to buy a label maker.
Or sticky notes, and everyone will have to deal.
Oh.
Resogun's only 500 megs.
What's the name of the thing? That thing in Resogun. The little blocks.
I haven't... Oh, the voxels?
Yes.
They keep calling them voxels, but they've made perfectly clear that they aren't voxels, but because voxels is such a sexy term...
It is a sexy term, so they're not voxels?
Voxels are a completely different way of rendering than normal polygons. It's based on the presence of, like, a fixed grid concept of, like, there is a cube here, there is not a cube here.
And this is just, they made cubes out of polygons and stacked them. Okay.
Yeah. And then they go in with their art tool, and they made everything look like it was constructed out of cubes too. So it's at the moment when they die that they just spawn the cubes and like so fucking many, 200,000.
Yeah, I saw like.
Have you seen the title screen?
No.
If there's a single thing about the PS4 that makes you feel like next gen is here, it is that title screen. It is a sphere constructed of all 200,000 cubes pulsing in and out, undulating and coursing and forming these different shapes.
Nice.
Yes.
You know, title screen tech demos are my favorite thing.
Yes.
It made the first couple hours of The Darkness like, yeah, maybe this is a really great game. Just that title screen, like, that's so cool.
Yeah, I remember feeling like that myself. You know, I can't wait till PlayStation VR gets announced, and then we get our Lingering Shadows for it.
Yeah.
That'll be
maybe it's a sequel to The Darkness. Because nothing says awesome VR game like looking left and right at your fucking tentacles.
That would be really awesome, yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody should get on that. Patching that into...
So they come out with the PlayStation VR. And if you got a PlayStation camera, it just records 5 minutes of your first time playing with the PlayStation VR, uploads it to YouTube. It does this for about a week, and then Sony's like, we're shutting down our games division. Fuck y'all.
Ha! Now, is that decision pre-planned, or is that in reaction to what they saw?
Oh God, no, pre-planned.
Okay.
I don't believe Sony has a what do you call it? A gag reflex anymore.
So,
You need to replay Linger in Shadows. It's one of those things, like, you play it the first time, you're like, oh, this is really interesting. Play it the second time, like, oh man, maybe this is really deep. Play it the third time, this is boring as shit. You go back and play it again, like, man, this is really fun.
yeah. It's really weird how it courses. What the best thing to do with that game is to stick it in someone's hands. Let them deal with.
And then sit behind them and rip your hair out. Go back! Look at the thing!
Yep. Isn't that one of the most frustrating games to hand a person? I just, every time I've done it, I've been so frustrated and delighted by them going, "What?"
So I always love giving people puzzle games that I've played. Because they're like, I'm stuck. Yeah, it's a puzzle. And then I just go back to reading.
I'm stuck.
That's the true joy at the end of a puzzle game for me. Not like the ending cutscene, giving it to someone else and already knowing how to solve the puzzles.
So, The Witness. Are you excited?
So hard. Oh
Okay.
my God.
I was like,
I know nothing about it since E3, and I'm super excited.
oh yeah. I've heard some coverage on it. Heard some really cool, interesting things of like this one puzzle won't seem possible, so you'll just wander away, and what you'll realize is there are cables coming out of that puzzle and going off into the forest. If you just follow the cable all the way to the end, you'll find another puzzle that is possible, and it turns out there are like 3 or 4 cables.
That is the true joy of the puzzle island. You have to find the prime puzzle.
Yes.
And the prime puzzle is usually turn switch to on. God damn it, I've been playing this for 4 hours.
Thanks, Mist.
Right? Fucking Mist.
I can't wait for an Oculus Rift Mist. That's going to be VR
And honestly,
Mist.
I want to play with a mouse.
Yeah.
I want a mouse and a pointer in my VR helmet.
Wow, what the fuck is wrong with you? Everything.
I beat Riven in 2 days. The fuck do you think is wrong with me?
Jesus
Well,
Christ.
2.5.
That's still...
Yeah, we did nothing for like 8-hour sessions, but it was me and another guy, it was Ryan, and we just played Riven. We played the shit out of Riven.
Good lord.
It was really awesome.
I bet. Okay, so... Sorry this podcast seems like it has a down note. I'm fucking exhausted because of all the stress of getting things organized for that. And the tomorrows when I get to hit the switch of be happy. And maybe get some caffeine.
The PlayStation 4, you need it to be happy.
That's basically Wii U's latest ad.
Oh, yeah?
Buy it so your family stays together.
Oh, yeah. How about that?
They're like 2 free games. Super Mario Bros. U. Super Luigi U. Like, that's the same game. That's a DLC pack, you fuckers.
You fuckers.
You fuckers!
Fuckers!
Ah!